All right.
March 4th, Gino, how you feeling?
Feeling good, Jack. I'm Gino Schellenberger.
And I'm Jack Westerkamp. And tonight, snapped into something there.
That was good, though.
I got a coffee stain.
I saw that.
I just want that to be on the record. It's unfortunate, and it's not something that I'm proud of. But with these cups, and no free ads, but it like, the way it falls into you, it's just not.
You got you got some dribble down.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know I'm not the only one. Big show today. First live show. We did some interviews, some live, some pre-recorded.
Mm-hmm.
You know how it is. But there's a lot to get to. Big theme from this. We're just kind of all over the place.
No, we're making great progress, Jack. Like, this thing is going and growing.
I'm talking about the show itself, like the topics that we're going to talk about. Very all over the place. But that's how advertising is. It's
not Super Bowl anymore. Like, we got multiple topics going on.
I feel like I always bring this up, but is this kind of in the news cycle of the advertising world, a little bit of a dead period?
Are we in the dog days, are you asking?
We're just coming up with stuff at this point.
Yeah.
But there's a lot. I think one big note, though, is a lot of, it's running season. I think if I want to say that going into this show, there's a lot of running conversation. Running culture is so big. And as we start to get into that fake spring, people are like, my New Year's resolution was to run more, but I have to wait until it's warm out. This is that time, brother.
I see that, Jack. Yeah, we got a good campaign to talk about later that ties directly to that.
Ties directly to it. Anything else in your personal life we want to talk about? We'll get to Ross's dating situation at the end of the show, but anything from you?
I'm a little, I'm jacked up right now, Jack. I just did the update. I'm on the update, which is the Kim Kardashian energy drink. I had 2 already this morning.
You shotgunned one yesterday.
Yeah.
You've been on a shotgun kick lately.
I have been on a shotgun
And that's something that maybe is concerning for us here at Breaking and Entering, but it should not be for you until we say something out loud. Should we get into it?
Let's get into
the 2-minute drill. Biggest stories, topics from the last couple days that we're going to talk about. 2 minutes each time.
Big number for you that I got from Forbes here. 19.8 million views on top videos of people recreating his video and testing the burger.
I know, and that's why this is what gets me upset sometimes with the marketing thought leaders, the LinkedIn, the people that take things so seriously, is people reacting and being like, McDonald's, what a blunder. You can't do this. You've lost all control of your brand. For any company, McDonald's is the one where all you're trying to do is get people to try the new product release or whatever. They're too big to fail. They're not worried about in the grand scheme of blunders, PR nightmares. I don't think that is a CEO being himself.
And what was the CEO that had the affair at the Coldplay concert?
I mean, you talk about CEO. That's a blunder. That's a blunder. That's a great point.
Yeah. And listen, let's talk about Burger King. Did they respond at all, Jack?
They did respond, and they
indirectly, right? It wasn't like a.
They didn't do a big thing. They just reposted a video that was already shot, recorded of their CEO eating a Burger King burger and being like, wow, that's great. Which it's again, these are CEOs. These aren't real people. They're fake humans.
Chris, we want to invite you on this show to do a round 2 trying the burger. Next up,
Redemption time. Next up, VML wins big with some brands here. We got Maybelline and Essie.
Yes,
are
Jack.
the 2 brands that VML is going to be doing some social work for, and it lends itself to a bigger story. The idea of TikTok, social media driving beauty brands, makeup, all of the above.
Yeah, these are perfect brands on social media, right? This is the get ready with me videos that we see that moves the product here. So for Essie and Maybelline to invest in a social AOR, if you will, or an agency to invest into that output. I think it makes a lot of sense. And I got a hot take, but I'll let you keep talking.
Okay, little hot take warning. Be on the lookout later on in this segment. My thought on this, when you bring in this agency, you kind of get the scale, you get the integrated, you get everything that comes with an agency and like the amount of just sheer volume that they can produce across the globe. And I think that's going to be important, especially, you know, Get Ready With Me's are flooding the feed. There's no shortage of it. So it's really a matter of like, can you create enough interesting, unique assets and get them to the right places and get them from the right audiences using data, using tracking, using different personas.
And representative at VML stated, like, it's more than just content production, right? There's actually strategy that goes behind it too, and the pillars that go into it. But I want to get into my hot take here. It seems like social right now is cementing itself in the agency space, establishing these agencies of records here. But I have a prediction: in the next 3 to 5 years, I think we're going to see the socials having their own roster of agencies. In the future, they'll have multiple agencies running different parts of social media, whether it's for Instagram strategy, Reel strategy. I think we're going to build into that. It goes AOR, and then it gets into this roster model that I think we're going to be building to in the next chapter once they all align on this.
Social rosters the same way that you have like creative rosters, like you do for big ads. Love it, Gino. Next one, Rhode and Sarah Pidgeon. I don't know if we'll be able to get the Ellie. Yep, Ellie's stepping in here.
I'm in.
Ellie, what is going on? Tell us what this is.
All right, so we have Rhode, which is Hailey Bieber's beauty brand. They just continue to crush. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. Just watch that cord there.
Got it. They just know how to tap the right people to represent Rhode. We have FX's show Love Story. I think it actually might be called American Love Story, but people are referring to it as Love Story. It's a huge deal right now. It has the girls in a chokehold. I mean, I think it has the guys in a chokehold right now.
Confirmed.
I may or may not have seen Jack in a backwards scally cap. It's a situation.
I kind of look like him, don't I?
Yeah, you should do that Washington Square Park look-alike.
So what's the situation? Like, why are people so excited about this? Why do you feel like it's a good move by Rhode for this specific actress?
Yeah, so Sarah Pidgeon is actually Meryl Streep's daughter, which is she's doing a good job hiding the Nepo baby little situation. But she's a total moment. She's representing Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, who was this 90s fashion icon, understated fashion. You know, she's wearing Prada, but she would take the tags off, so no one ever knew that it was designer.
Performative.
No. She was great.
Sick.
She was fabulous. And so Sarah Pidgeon is having her total moment. It's great. She's running the internet, and she just had this fabulous look at the Actors Awards, which used to be the SAG Awards. And the internet was eating up her beauty look. She looked super natural, super glowy, looked like Carolyn Bessette. And it was all done by Rhode.
And Rhode is are they kind of understated fashion?
Totally. It's like clean girl,
so it makes a ton of sense.
Beauty. Yeah, it's like a total perfect casting moment.
Boom, perfect casting moment. Ellie, thank you so much.
Nice job, Ellie.
Last one, speaking of brand partnerships, brands, I would call this, Kith and On. A little partnership, multi-year partnership for these two. You got Kith, which is very New York streetwear.
Yeah.
And then On is very, I saw, shout out Emily Sundberg in the her Feed Me Substack. She said On is like Republican dad, more suburban kind of look. So you got these two coming together.
What they want to be the brand, or is that just how she's interpreting?
I think that's how she's interpreting it, which is very funny and very accurate. But On, you kind of is more performance, I would say, and then Kith is like streetwear, heritage, New York. So you got this combination. What do you think of that, just right off the dome?
Yeah, it's an interesting brand partnership, Jack. I don't know these brands very well. I know you had a couple On shoes right in the past, but you switched over to Saucony.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think I'm excited. What are we going to see from it? Is it like a new shoe that's coming out? What's going on?
2 new shoes, 2 new exclusive. A drop last day. Shout out to Hypebeast, I believe is the publication that came out with it. 2 new shoes. It's taking over now, like New York influencer culture. So I think for On, what do you get? You get in with the in crowd.
The cultural capital, if you will.
The cultural capital, and then Kith, probably more so known just on vibes, is getting
some
performance, like higher tech kind of clothing here. So they're doing it for a multi-year partnership.
With these new shoes, am I running in them or am I going out on a performative walk or like to the bar with them? What am I doing with these shoes?
I think that's kind of like the spectrum that you just said. I think you could run in them, but it's similar to like how On shoes are. You can walk around in an On shoe, or you could technically run. I don't like running in On shoes, but that's neither here nor there. Some people could. I think that's kind of, it's like that spectrum. I could be wrong. I think that there's two different shoes, so there might be different components for each, but great question by Gino in that. Anything before we...
Kith has ice cream at one of their stores in New York. They sell ice cream as well. Did you know that?
Well, Kith has like the entire corridor. Have you noticed this?
Yes.
Kith has...
They get the kids one, and they get the...
women's, and then they have the men's. It's all
good.
on like
People
Lafayette, Soho, like, or just, that's just North, NoHo.
I like their campaign too with like the New York like staple celebrities like doing like monologues, or like, have you seen that series on social that they did in the past?
Yeah, I have. I have seen that series. It's a good one. It's a great look into really like the culture of New York, and the team behind Kith is very cool. They do a great job with it. So I think that's big time. Our next segment, Gino.
What do we got?
We got
Jack?
some big time news, and we're about to bring her in. Maru Sokolowski is joining the show, and she steps in as the Chief Operating Officer at Founders Agency, Gino. Big news here. Maru comes over, Global Head of Creative Excellence at McCann, formerly. A lot of holdco shakeup happening. Founders Agency, an indie agency that is really having a big moment here, bringing in Maru. So she's on the screen now. Maru, how are you?
Hello, how are you? Thank you for having me here. What an honor, guys.
Thank you so much for joining here. Maru, so tell us about what you did at McCann. What was your role previously?
So I was Global Head of Creative Excellence and Creative Operation. I work with more than, I will say, 100 countries, putting together our best work, connecting people with clients, connecting people with briefs, with people that had talent to work on those briefs. And getting people together. That was part of like my job.
And she was good at it, Jack. I got in my notes here. Helped win one of McCann's first Grand Prix in around 7 years for the work with Site Walks, which was a great campaign that you guys did there. So
that was
good.
great. Let's say that was in gray, not a McCann.
Oh, okay, got it. Noted.
My apologies.
Noted.
My apologies.
Noted. Oh, was that gray? Yeah.
It was that gray.
Listen, Maru, that's going to be on our intern. We'll have a word with our intern about that research snafu.
No, because I think that the people at Gray deserves an applause for that Grand Prix. So
nice.
I wanted to
nice
make
job
that
to
right.
Get the whole crew here to do a quick round of applause. Everyone's clapping. Maru, so let's talk about now the new role, Chief Operating Officer at Founders Agency. How did you get connected with the crew? What drew you to Founders?
So I think that what I was doing before and what I will do here is very connected. I think that I will use all this experience that I had, like pushing people to do the best work of their life, to make the same at Founders, to bring great talent, to push for the work, and to make operations all around creativity and great work, not about profit only.
Love that. And I think the landscape and the stage that we're playing on in the advertising creative world lends itself to this being a pretty interesting move. And we hear about it all the time. A lot of people talk about the indie agency kind of having that flexibility, not being beholden to being a public company, having shareholders. And so when you hear that in the broader landscape of where the agency world is going, what gets you excited about being at an indie agency in particular?
Good question, Jack.
Thank you, Gino.
Great question.
That's an amazing question. So all my career, I moved from one agency to the other, like following the people that I was working with. I think that was one of the main things, and wanted to learn, right? I'm very curious. I always wanted to learn how to manage a bigger network, how to work with more people, how to work with different countries, how to learn from different cultures. And I think that I did that to one of the biggest agencies that we had. And now that I learned how to do it like in a big scale, I wanted to learn in an indie that I never had the experience before. So I think that all that learned during the years, it could be applied into a smaller infrastructure with different people from different countries with different interests. So I think it was, a good opportunity and a great challenge for me.
Gino is going to ask a question.
I'm going to ask a question. Tell me about founders and some of the clients that you guys are working with today.
Well, we have very exciting clients.
I'm very impressed by these clients too. I saw on the website.
Right?
It's real deal.
So cool. So some of them are Spotify, Netflix, Red Stripe, Heineken. We have super cool clients.
Yeah, it's a broad, and then also I feel like Founders has a global footprint as well. And so I feel like this is what gets me jazzed up. Is you think about, Maru, you come, working in a big network that has a global footprint, maybe more headcount, but the idea remains. You're connecting a global network together to create, as you say, the best work, regardless of profit. So tell me, what is the key? What's the secret sauce to the idea of having a global footprint, but all moving in the same direction?
I think you need to know your people. I think that understand which each person is good at is key. So you can be, the glue connecting each person with what you need to do. I think that's the secret sauce, but don't tell anyone. So.
No one will see this. Remember, it's between us and you. That's all. I promise.
Tens of other people.
And tens of thousands of millions of other people. And so this is exciting. I think what are you planning in terms of what does success look like? And I think a lot of people will be interested in this to hear because of how popular and this prediction of with the changing landscape at holding companies, the amount of now opportunity for talent to go to an indie agency. What is kind of your message to the broader industry about being able to make it work and how you're coming into this role and looking to make an impact?
So I think the priority now is hiring great talent and continue building an amazing team. One of the best things that the founder has are the people. So I want to continue growing this team is one of my priorities and do great work around it, right? Again, one of the founder's priorities, I think, is the people and do great work and continue building on that is going to be key for this role.
I feel like, Gino, you always say that, especially to junior level talent, the idea of following the people.
That's all we got.
It's all we got.
That's all we got.
Well, and now I feel like it's becoming, because of the fact that with technology advancements, at least what we're hearing, Maru, like these smaller indie agencies that maybe didn't have the opportunity to compete on the tech and scale front with a larger holding company 10 years ago, now have access, and the playing field is kind of leveled. So now it is easier to maybe follow the people, and you can do big, massive projects at an indie agency, which maybe wasn't the case before. Maru, am I accurate on that? Do you feel like the playing field has leveled with the advancements in technology?
I think so. I think it depends on the case, right? And depends what clients you have and what team you are in front of. I think that we all need to learn how to use technology. And I think that if you're not using it, wherever you are, junior or senior, you're one step or two behind. So I think that we need to make it a part of our lives. I don't think that technology will ever have the criteria of the creative. So that's why I always push for, creatives to be involved. I think that for me it's the key, but we all need to use it.
Gotta use it. We're using it right now.
Yeah.
Shout out to technology. Quick shout out. That was brought to you by technology. Gino, any closing remarks before we let Maru go?
No closing remarks from Gino. I think Maru, you crushed it. I'm really excited to see what you guys do in the future. Let us know when you got some big wins, big work launch. We'll be happy to get you back on.
Check out Founders Agency. Check out Maru. Maru, thank you so much for joining. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, guys. Have a beautiful day.
The clapping is evident right now, and that was Maru. Gino, what do you think about that Founders Agency?
Listen, there are so many damn ad agencies. 15,000 of them. That was probably a metric that was created or founded 5 years ago.
So it's more.
Probably way more.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, it's always going to come down to the people. Who are the clients? Who are the people? Who's your bosses? Who's your creative team? That's what it comes down to.
Well, you talked about we talked about this earlier. Your prediction on the idea of a social roster for brands. So that signals to me more opportunity for agencies if that prediction comes true. More opportunity out there, and I think to your point, it is, like the last frontier is human relationship and human connection. Like you can't technology that away.
Nope.
And I think that's what maybe is going to be the future for some of these smaller indie agencies.
Frick yeah.
Frick yeah.
Frick
Next
yeah,
story,
Jack.
Gino. This one's exciting.
It's all going with the good over there?
Yeah,
Is everybody good over there?
everything.
Thumbs up?
Can I get a production crew check-in? How are we doing over there?
We got thumbs
Ross,
up.
go ahead.
Jan.
Doing great on this side.
Ross, we'll follow up on the date you had. Don't worry. If you stick around to the end of the show, talk about Ross's date that he had, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we're excited about that. This office has been buzzing.
Yes.
And speaking of buzz.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like that transition. Speaking of buzz, NPR.
Yes.
Buzzy work earlier this week from an agency that's also quite buzzy, Mischief, at No Fixed Address, led by Greg Hahn. They did this work with NPR, new campaign where they switched NPR logo to what, Gino?
They changed it to 3 words. Was it why, how, and what was the third one? Who. Which are the fundamental questions that any journalist or any person might ask if they're interested in a topic here.
Yeah, and I got it right here. Yeah, how, who, and why.
How, who, and why.
So a bunch of different ways that they executed this. They changed in Washington, D.C., their headquarters. They have the NPR outside their building. They changed it there. They also took out a full-page ad in the New York Times with a manifesto that people really, really liked. Chef's kiss.
And this also, I think, the broader context too. Like, I was pretty sure that NPR was subjected to budget cuts from the federal government.
$1.1 billion rescinded as of summer of last year.
Wow.
So it's a wild moment. And then you have who we're talking to here in a second. The NPR CMO, Mishka Pitter-Armand, steps into the role in October, just 3 months after a massive pivotal moment. And then 4 months after that, they come out with this campaign, which really feels like a rallying cry for curiosity. And I said this to Mishka, we pre-recorded this interview, and I was talking to her, and I said, rarely do we post about a campaign and you get like consensus, whether it's good or bad. This one feels like a moment of consensus. It feels like, just especially with the timing, people wanted to see this. People have such a love for NPR and their reporting, and so it felt like a really big moment.
Yeah, huge fan. Very powerful work from Mischief, one of the top ad agencies out there today. Consistently, we talk about them. So I'm excited to see your interview.
Yeah, I interviewed Mishka. We can get into that transition right now. Mishka Pitter-Armand, NPR CMO, to talk about the latest work from them. All right, Mishka Pitter-Armand, CMO of NPR, joins the show. Mishka, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. This is a blast.
Oh, the pleasure's all on this side of the computer screen, Mishka. So NPR campaign just dropped. First off, how are you feeling? How's the team feeling? I'm sure there's a lot of work, as everyone who works in marketing knows. There's a lot that goes into it, especially for something like this that is it's a very big thing. How's the whole team feeling? Let's just do a quick vibe check.
Yeah, we have had an incredible time working with our creative partners, Mischief, and No Fixed Address. They've been incredible partners. The team has been really energized. This is the first time in 56 years of being around that NPR has done anything to just sort of upend and replace our logo. So really excited to dive into that. And to be honest, it's really energizing. We've been in an incredible moment of change for all of public media, for NPR and our member stations. And so I think folks are ready to really hone in and dial into what is important to us as the NPR network of stations, as well as what's really important to our audience. So let's get back to the content. Let's get back to the news. Let's get back to arts and culture that really move people. And it's been just as positive within the halls of NPR and our member stations as well.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Really happy to hear that too. I think if I can go through a little bit of a timeline here just to back up. So
Yeah.
in July 2025, very big news, obviously, but Congress rescinding $1.1 billion for NPR, PBS, and member stations. Mishka, you joined as CMO in October. So what? That's 3 months after. And now we're here in February with the launch of this campaign. Can you just talk about your experience coming into NPR at a big moment of change, but also seemingly turning this moment into a massive opportunity, which I think has really landed with this campaign? I'd just love to hear your perspective after joining, in October.
Yeah, it has definitely been a whirlwind. And to be clear, the folks that were at NPR before I joined have been on a roller coaster ride. And fundamentally, where we landed when I joined the organization in October was really, really clear that NPR has always been about curiosity. And in this moment of time, it's even more relevant. So as we were navigating this rescission and sort of the after effects of that rescission, the American public has been incredibly generous to NPR. And so while we are navigating these structural shifts, there is a fundamental human need for curiosity, asking questions and finding answers. So as we were thinking about this moment in time, we didn't want to be reactive, right? We wanted to make a declaration and focus on the fact that our mission hasn't changed. And in fact, the mission for public media has become even more urgent. So as we were thinking about the creative anchor for the campaign and really anchoring around curiosity and anchoring around these questions that our audience needs answers to, it was the perfect way to elevate what NPR stands for, which is providing the trusted context and answers to these questions. So we were really not thinking about being reactive. It was more about how do we make a declaration and move forward in a way that's resonant for everyday people, for the folks that love NPR and support NPR every single day, and for the American public at large.
Yeah, and for me as a tried and true optimist, I can appreciate the stance that NPR is kind of taking here, where, like to your point, it could have been very easy to do something that's more reactionary, call something out and have it kind of be more, maybe, I don't know, the reactionary stuff always kind of seems like you're doing something that gives off a negative connotation. In this situation, it almost feels like the optimistic stance is what's being taken and saying that, listen, NPR is not going anywhere. The right to curiosity isn't going anywhere. And like the true storytelling and asking of questions is still alive and well, which I think means a lot to people, especially right now in the current political climate, to know that like essentially NPR has your back when it comes to defending your right to ask questions. And like that's like my perspective. So when you hear that, is that kind of what almost the brief was when working with Mischief to try and get that message across?
100%. I mean, were you there in the conference room? That's exactly where we were coming from. And, we know that NPR is a civic institution and we're here to like strengthen communities and safeguard our democracy. And it absolutely was about bringing people into a space that felt good as well. And that sense of really doubling down on curiosity as a fundamental right is exactly sort of the nucleus of this campaign.
And how was it working with the team at Mischief? Mischief is in the advertising world very highly regarded, especially when it comes to being unignorable. I think that's a big rallying cry. Everyone, obviously, a lot of advertising is around, being unignorable, but I think Mischief takes it to the next level and is really the gold standard. So what was the process like working with them and then also having the trust? Because I think it's a courageous move. To your point, you haven't switched around the logo in the entire existence of NPR. So I'm curious about that dynamic of, on the client side or on the brand side, the NPR side, having the courage to say yes to a big idea, but also kind of like that dynamic of working with Mischief.
Yeah, I mean, So the team started working with Mischief and having conversations with them over the summer before I joined in October. When I joined in October, that really galvanized and moved us in a direction to put pen to paper and get a campaign out the door. They were introduced to us through one of our board members, who's also an experienced CMO, and so we literally started this conversation with them on like taking the brand apart and showing people what's inside of the work that we do every day. They've been incredible partners. They have brought so much of the work. Their team has been brought to bear on a pro bono basis. So we cannot express our gratitude to them enough. And to be honest, there's so many of the creative partners and distribution partners that we've been working with on this campaign that have also brought their services to the table on a pro bono basis. So this collective project really is, the result of a multitude of partners bringing their generosity and their belief in NPR and our mission. I really do believe that Mischief was the right partner for this because they brought to the table, just incredible sense of savvy and understanding of the audience, especially in these moments of public scrutiny. It can be really tempting to lean into what's safe and what's incremental. And what we loved about Mischief was really their reputation for breakthrough work. And they committed to diving deep to understand us. So that sense of building the trust with them was evident in the work that they did to understand NPR and our member stations and where we were coming from. And given how much NPR was being talked about in culture at that time and even today, we knew that we needed to take extra care to figure out that what we were saying was really something that was going to break through. And that was the strategy, and Mischief really helped us get there.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the creative partnerships, people rallying around. It says so much about the deep love and admiration for NPR as a brand, first off. And then also, I mean, you partnered with the New York Times. I mean, taking out a full spot in the New York Times with this manifesto. I mean, that's kind of that's got to be an interesting partnership because obviously New York Times also a publication. I'm not sure about like the relationship and all that, but what does that tell you about the state of some of, I don't want to say competitors, but peers in the industry to be able to say, hey, let's all rally together here. We're going to take out this manifesto and really celebrate the idea of curiosity in journalism.
Yeah, when it's interesting that you bring that up because there are certainly overlaps between this campaign of these questions of curiosity and the way that journalists go about doing their work every day. When we brought this campaign to our hosts, who are penultimate journalists of the highest order, it resonated with them because they're like, yeah, these are the questions that we ask as we build our stories as well. And there's just that Venn diagram of the questions that everyday people are asking about, like this fast-paced life that we're all living and why things are happening and who's doing what and how does this work. That is a direct overlap with the way that journalists approach their everyday and doing their high quality work. So it really felt like a human truth that came through with the core sort of like big idea behind this campaign.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's, I see the how, who, and why changing letters. And I'm like, wait, that's actually, those are like the only three questions. It makes it all feel much more simpler, and like it really is that simple. Like curiosity starts with these very simple questions. I was almost considering coming into this, Mishka, and just being like, first question, how, and then just seeing what would happen. But I think
let's go with it.
Yeah, either way, I think this was great. Thank you so much, Mishka, for coming in and speaking about this, and congratulations on the launch, and very excited to see what's next for NPR.
It has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much. And we are so excited about this campaign, and this is the first phase. And so Stay tuned.
Staying
Are we
tuned.
back? Are we back, Gino?
Yes, and I
Come
will
on.
be staying tuned.
I'm posting on LinkedIn right now.
What are you going to say?
That's what I'm doing. I'm saying Gus Johnston, Global Creative Director at Saucony, will be on the Breaking Entering show in the next 7-ish minutes.
Here we go.
He's going to talk about the latest film from Saucony and the hotly contested running shoe industry. What'd you think about that post?
I think that's a great post, Jack. I'm excited to talk with him.
I am too. But what'd you think? NPR, Mishka, what they've got cooking?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Like you said before, it is universally loved. I think it's a universally loved brand as well.
You know what's
got?
interesting?
What do you got?
This is the second time this has happened where the United States government does something to negatively affect a very specific company, and then as a result, the public rallies around that company.
Mm-hmm.
We just saw it with Claude. Claude increased revenue significantly, pretty much overnight, after the current administration was like, we're not using Claude anymore, stop using Claude. And everyone in the United States is like, screw you, I'm gonna use Claude now, even harder than I did before.
They're going to come back and rally.
They're gonna come back and rally. So next one, Gino. I'm a runner.
You are a runner, Jack.
I'm a running guy.
And you were, I believe, on the app. What's the app called? Strava. You were the #1 runner on a specific street in New York City for a month. What was that street?
The Spring Street Shuffle.
The Spring Street.
They call me
Shuffle.
the Spring Street Shuffler.
Shuffler.
Spring Street Demon.
Yeah. And when you're running on Spring Street, which you are the best at, you are the best runner on Spring Street in New York City.
Objectively.
What shoes do you wear?
I wear Saucony.
Okay.
I wear Saucony, not sponsored by Saucony, by the way, not yet, at least. But yeah, running culture and running marketing is really interesting to me right now.
It's up for grabs.
It is.
It's up for grabs. Before it was just Nike, the monolith. I feel like that owned the market. When I thought running shoes or shoes in general, I thought Nike. I woke up and now it's up for grabs.
It's up for grabs. I am so fascinated by I don't want to say the fall because it's pretty doomer, but the fall of Nike in their running shoes and how they had it. Like I read Shoe Dog. You read Shoe Dog, right?
Dog.
Phil Knight book. And you got so many players now. There's so many challenger brands that have taken advantage of the opportunity to tell a real story and connect with their audience on a personal level. These run clubs, these communities, these cultures that have been kind of facilitated by these running shoes has been so effective, and it's been the gold standard of IRL marketing, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think when we think about Saucony, just for some context here before we get into the interview, they have an initiative that is about a year old. It's called Run as One. This is followed by a new CMO. It's really trying to get the community lifestyle aspect of running. So pivoting from like performance technology to this lifestyle brand here. So that's been going on for a year. Before this campaign that we're going to talk about, they had a holiday initiative that was called Run Home for the Holidays too. So it's like they're building onto this brand platform, and they just did this 4-minute film.
4-minute film, and it like feels like one continuous take. And it was done by Saucony in-house, led by Gus Johnston, who we're about to bring in to talk about. He's the global creative director at Saucony. It's a great film. It kept me into it. Like I was into it the whole time. It felt cinematic. It was very well shot. There's like no dialogue, but there's a story the whole time. I love when they do that. I love when you can follow a story and they do callbacks throughout the film. The one person I relate to the most, obviously, is the beginning character. He's in the Sauconys, he's in the suit and tie. He's got the flowers, seemingly trying to chase down a lover of some sort.
Yearning, which is a whole other segment here. And I think in that film, 4 minutes, so it shows 7 pairs of shoes without kind of overtly promoting those shoes.
And to draw it back, we talked about earlier Kith and On, their partnership just announced. And then you also saw last week Adidas, a big time film. We called it one of the best sneaker ads that we've seen in years, with Samuel L. Jackson at the forefront. It's done by Johannes Leonardo. Similar situation where the shoe's not the star, but the shoe contributes to the star factor. So it's been a hot week for apparel, for shoes specifically.
It's been a shoe week.
Sneaker week.
Sneaker week here.
Sneaker week here at Breaking and Entering. Without further ado, let's bring him in, the expert, the one who is the center of the story, Gus Johnston, Global Creative Director at Saucony, to talk about the new film, to talk about running shoes, to talk about marketing, to talk about whatever the hell we want. Let's bring him in, Gus Johnston. Oh, Gus, I'm so excited. I dropped my pen. Thank you for joining. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm very well, and it's a pleasure to be with both of you.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you, and I'm excited about this. I'm a runner. I think I'll claim that title.
Yeah, you run. You were on the what's the app that you're on?
I'm on Strava. I also wear the brand. I wear Saucony. It's pronounced Saucony, right, Gus? Because I've been going back and forth. Yeah, exactly.
That's correct. That's correct, Jack. Yeah, there are quite a lot of pronunciations for the brand name, but Saucony is bang on.
Well, that's what happens. The brand's 127 years old.
Shut the frick up.
I don't know if people realize that. But Gus, you're the global creative director, and so new film just dropped that I think a lot of people are excited about. I think for me personally, I watched it. I felt something as a runner. Gino, your reaction to it?
Listen, I'm not a runner. I don't claim to be a runner, but this film, I would call it a film, inspired me to get out there and hit the frickin' pavement. I felt kind of like left out, like of this community of runners.
So Gus, when you hear that, how does that make you feel, knowing all the, the labor, the love that went into this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I think that, you try and, as much as we're making a story like that for a really specific audience, and there's detail and there's nuance to it that maybe only slightly more hardcore or dedicated runners might understand, you also want a story like that to kind of function at lots of different altitudes. And so the fact that, Gino, it resonates with you in the same way or in a different way that it might for Jack is kind of a little bit of the intention, really. It's like you want it to be hitting a chord at that sort of like human level where anyone, a runner or not, could watch it and kind of understand that sense of connection that we're trying to translate, I think. Yeah.
I'm curious about, whenever something like this comes out, whenever a film or an ad comes out, how did you go into it deciding we want to make something that is longer than a 30 or 60 second ad? We want to make something that feels cinematic, that feels more like a film, or was the film a function of the idea or what you all were trying to do?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely evolved a little bit. It wasn't, we didn't start with a prescriptive intention of creating a 4-minute short film. And I've sort of said a couple of times in the last week, somewhat flippantly, but it is actually true, which is the length to a large extent was actually determined by how long it took, because we sort of did the real time, one shot from end to end. And so it was a bit like, well, how long's the film going to be? And it's like, well, let's go find out. So but I love that process because it also, I think it imbues a little bit more authenticity into it. It's like, we're not actually kind of patching over the cracks or the creases a little bit. There's a sort of transparency in that technique and I suppose approach to filmmaking. And so, yeah, it definitely, I think we wanted to make something that did justice to the feeling and experience. And I think the reality is 15, 6, 30-second formats in media serve a role, but are they the best length to really kind of deeply connect with people? Probably not. And so I think it's about finding a space where you can do justice to the idea.
Yeah. May I back things up and ask about the brand positioning, Jack?
Approved.
Have you seen those videos? It's like, can I order French fries? Can I get the French fries?
Yeah, you have to asking your partner if you can get the French fries instead of the salad.
Yeah. So backing things up a little bit, looking holistically at the brand, in this spot specifically, there's no mention of new technology, upgrades around the shoe specifically. It's more holistic brand building, which I like to see in today's age. Can you give me your POV on where the Saucony brand is now and where you're heading with it?
Yeah, for sure. I think a big part of what we're trying to accomplish is, with the brand positioning and the Run as One kind of brand platform, is actually just creating, first and foremost, kind of creating a little bit of continuity and consistency for the brand. I think lots of people love the brand in sort of subsects and subcultures. And Jack, as you said, you're already, well, you didn't call yourself a fan, but I'm assuming you are on the basis that you wear the product. And I think that we have lots of little fandoms, and I think in a way, it's about bringing all those people together under a more singular banner. But it's also just about creating consistency. As we know, that's a pretty vital ingredient for any brand to create awareness and recognition and all of that sort of stuff. And so that's been a big part of the process for us, rallying around the idea of community and connection, but making sure that we don't just slap these words on marketing and advertising, but we actually kind of live and breathe it a little bit. Yes, we can do that through film storytelling like the piece that we're chatting about, but it's also about how we show up in the world, in the community in a very real way. And I think people will sniff it out if it's inauthentic, regardless of how beautiful your film is or how well crafted these things are. And I think, so for me, it was really, my job's made easier when I know that the brand and the business and the team are actually kind of living by this ethos. And so you can go out with a story or a film like this and feel a degree of confidence that people aren't going to call it out as kind of a veneer, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's, the running shoe space is so fascinating to me, and especially the culture that's around it. Especially coming out of like the pandemic, people have just gotten obsessed with running, and it's become now a social endeavor. People, there's run clubs, and then the meme of, you either, by the time you turn 28, you either have kids and a family or you run a marathon. And so that whole culture is super interesting to me. But for Saucony, there's so many different brands out there, and some attach themselves to like being the performance shoe. And then there's other ones that are maybe like more casual, like you would see people walking around in. In the grand scheme of the running space, how do you feel like Saucony has navigated that, and how do you think the brand has done so far in a really, really competitive space?
Well, I think the incredible thing, again, from the position that I sit, is that from a product and performance perspective, we make extraordinary products. Like there's sort of, and we, as much as we want to continue to grow and sell more shoes, if you look at the sort of stats around marathon finishes and preference for brands, Saucony, despite certainly not being in the top 3 brands in the world, is consistently in the top 3 brands of preferred shoes in marathons. And
That's
so
amazing.
We're nipping at the heels of giants and brands who are. Go on, Gina.
I was going to ask them, why not make a campaign about that and say, well, we're the most preferred brand by the best athletes, and kind of go all in on that? That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, and look, those stories will begin to emerge, I think, and there's certainly things that we're going to tap into. But I think we wanted to first and foremost build more of a foundation, because I think people who are at the pointier end of performance running already know us and are already preferring us. And so whilst lots of people are running marathons and they're becoming more and more popular, and 1 million people are applying for single major marathons, meaning that the best part of 1 million people are actually getting rejected from those races. But the truth is, a lot more people aren't running marathons. And so as much as that technical proficiency and high performance is a really compelling story, we also know that it only appeals to a certain subsect in a really true sense. And so it's really about creating a slightly broader base that allows us to talk to a bigger audience as well.
I like that. I think I want to ask holistically about the running shoe space. Gus, in your opinion, why do you think that challenger brands have had so much success in recent years when it was a space that was really dominated by only a couple massive players for decades? Is there a thing that you've seen in the space that makes it so that challenger brands in running have had success?
Yeah, I mean, we're sort of in a unique position a little bit at Saucony because, as you sort of said, we've been around for over 100 years, but we are very much still a challenger brand, very much emerging, and that's for a combination of reasons. But nonetheless, I think you see the emergence of a lot of these smaller brands and the success that they're having, which I think to some extent is just about them it seems like a little bit of a cliche, but because they're coming in fresher into the market, they're able to disrupt and communicate in a way that isn't sort of beholden to the sort of, I suppose, historical context of these brands, or just doesn't have the baggage of expectation that a much larger brand, and as we know, two of the largest brands on the planet are in this category, much less, that are essentially two of the biggest brands in the world, not just running shoe brands in Adidas and Nike. And the reality is that they have, there's some baggage there for those brands. And I think we're one of those brands that, even though we've been around for a long time, we do have a relatively clean slate from a brand and a communication perspective to continue to reinvent and communicate in the way that we think is right for our audience.
Oh, that's great.
It's exciting.
It is, yeah, it's exciting and it's cool. I feel like, as a wearer of Saucony, like it's important for me to give that disclaimer to the audience, that I come in this with, a preset notion and bias of being a fan of the brand. It's working for me.
You need to hold Gus accountable.
I am. I'm looking. Gus, is it okay if I hold you accountable? Can I come to you with any product updates?
Is this like, this is not investment advice? Is that what that disclaimer is? It's sort of, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, this is like...
This is just entertainment.
Not an ad. Like, this is not an ad either. Even though I do wear the shoes, I want that it's not a sponsored thing.
Gus said he was going to send you a couple pairs.
Then it would change things. But yeah, no, that's my
Jack's going to be all
great.
kitted up for his running on the streets on Mulberry.
Last question, conspiracy time, tinfoil hat. Gus, wouldn't it be in the shoes' best interest that it didn't last for a long time? Because my Saucony shoes have lasted me for a very long time already. I'm thinking, why not just let them break down after like a year so I have to go and get more?
Like this product?
Yeah.
This thing breaks down after like 2 years for me. I said it, Gus, not you.
Well, Gus, thoughts on that?
Well, it's the classic Ford/Apple planned obsolescence thing, right? But I think it's really, and that's a little bit of the magic trick for our product and our engineering team is, using the right types of foams and rubbers and materials that are incredibly light, particularly in that performance space, that are incredibly light and perform at the level that they need to, but also can handle some wear and tear. And that's why we have, a spectrum of shoes. It's not like all of our shoes aren't designed for the same purpose. Some of our shoes, our Endorphin Elite 2, the Endorphin Elite 3 is about to drop this year. That's a shoe very much designed for a race day situation. And so, hear you on the wear and tear piece of it. But obviously the harder wearing issue is generally the heavier it gets, and so it doesn't perform quite as well.
I was going to say, maybe you're just not training hard enough.
either run harder. I could be.
Our shoes have more miles than your car.
That's great.
I like that one.
Well, Gus, thank you so much for taking the time. Congratulations on the film. It's really, really great.
I'm excited to see these activations at some of these marathons. You guys are doing a pop-up of some sort in Love Philly Run. I believe that's a half marathon. I'm not sure if that'll be coming up soon. Excited to see some of those activations at those marathons that you guys are doing and all other things that come from the Saucony brand.
Thank you, Gus. Appreciate your time.
Thanks both. Appreciate it.
We're back.
I'm back. I'm Gino Schellenberger.
Jack Westerkamp. For anyone that's joined, follow us. We are going live tomorrow and then next week, Tuesday through Thursday, 11 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. LinkedIn Live, we're on X Live, we're on YouTube Live, whatever your preferred live methodology. That could have been an ad read also, if anyone wants to sponsor the show. Gino, one note from the chat on YouTube, our guy Connor6266, shout out to Connor.
What did Connor say?
Everyone clap it up for Connor. Our guy Connor commented, said, such a sick single take shot, referring to the Saucony ad, Gino, or maybe our single take shot here.
Yes. Great. I agree with Connor. Connor626.
Connor6266, shout out. Thanks for the galaxy, Connor. And news just dropped, Gino, a couple hours ago. This is a live breaking news report. Apple has introduced the new MacBook Neo. For all the students out there, it is $599, $499 for students. It's kind of like the low-priced new MacBook Neo, Gino.
MacBook, not the Air. It's not like the MacBook.
Totally different thing.
Okay.
MacBook Neo. So that's a breaking news spot. I saw it on X, the Everything app.
That's right,
before coming in back here. But let's keep it moving, Gino, because interesting, exciting. I would say one of the more educational moments of this show's history coming up.
It was great. It was great. But let's talk about what's going on in the ad pricing world. This is interesting stuff, everybody. Hang in here because this is affecting how you get paid and how the future of the industry gets paid here. And let me just give a little context. Back in what's going on right now when you hear people say the agency model is not working, it's not working.
Advertising is dead. Madison Avenue is dead. Era.
This is what they're talking about. This is exactly what they're talking about, is the pricing structure. Right now, it's you bill for the time spent to make an ad.
Everyone has like a billable rate.
That's why you fill in your timesheets. You have to do it every single Friday. You got the guy reminding you, do your freaking timesheets. This is why you're doing that. That's how they get paid. This is an outdated model. That's what WPP might be thinking as well, as they're now testing the waters here to pivot with Jaguar Land Rover, which is an account they won. They're in negotiations.
Massive account. Massive win. This is like massive news. It's like, let's think, I don't know, it's like winning, I don't want to say winning a championship, but it's like you win a big playoff game. It's like winning this account.
Absolutely. So they win this account, and now Sydney Rose, who's the new CEO, is looking at the holding company. There's a lot of change going on, and they're looking at this contract as they're working on it right now. It's not finalized, but she wants to switch to a results-based payment. So let's say Jaguar Land Rover increases sales significantly. Well, we should get paid based off how much sales grew rather than how many hours we put in because of AI, the changing landscape. It's faster to do stuff.
Like if our ads got us a return on ad spend, we'll get a portion of that versus saying we worked 85 hours this week on this, our rate for our work is this much money. And a big reason too, Gino, is you can do things faster now. So it shouldn't, you're kind of, and I get it. I mean, I was in the consulting game back in the day, and you're kind of playing this game of like, if it takes me longer to do this task, I will get paid more.
I'll take my time on this.
The result doesn't matter, just the amount of time that I put in, because it was so much, back then it was way more correlated, time spent on a task to the output. Nowadays, you can get a great output way faster if you have the right idea. And you talk about like the ideating process.
I was just going to talk about the creative process.
In a bottle.
Yes, the creative process is elusive, Jack. You can't predict how long it's going to take me to come up with an idea. It could be 10 minutes, it could be 10 days, it could be 10 weeks.
So that's the situation, and you see a lot with like holding companies restructuring, reorganizing, trying to figure out the best way to now price their product. Everything has been about optimizing, which means cost cutting, which means if we merge with this other massive holding company and we can cut costs, we can lay people off, we can make things faster, more efficient so that we can get a better profit margin. But what if the truth lies in just changing the pricing to increase your revenue and charge a fair amount to your clients, Gino? What if?
It's hard, Jack. It's a difficult thing to do because it's an old system that's been in place for decades here. But we have an expert.
We got an expert because we are not the experts.
No
But
way.
Michael Farmer is the expert. He is a CEO. He's been around the agency world for his entire career as a client, and then also in a consultative role, Gino. And he's the author of a Substack called C-Suite Blues. He's also the author of a book titled Madison Avenue Manslaughter, another book, Madison Avenue Makeover, and he's got his third book coming out. You guessed it, Madison Avenue Revisited, coming in this year. So he's going to tell us about what's going on in the industry, what the issue's been.
Could this work?
Could this work? Let's get it going. Michael Farmer coming in now. Michael Farmer joins the show. Thank you so much for joining. Michael, how are you?
Jack, I'm fine. How are you? Thanks so much for having me. It's always fun to talk about what's going on in the industry.
Yeah, we're excited. Gino, how are you doing?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited.
Yes.
This is what I'm really pumped for here. I think understanding the agency pricing model is so fascinating and where it's headed. And really to understand where it's headed, we have to understand what's been happening. So my my first question for you, Michael, is that your research shows that the real price of agency work has fallen 75% in 3 decades. I believe we have a graphic here from your Substack. So my question to you is, did the industry destroy its own value across these 3 decades? What happened to the pricing here?
Well, you have to go back a little bit to when media commissions used to be the way they were paid, and whatever a client spent on media, like let's say P&G spent $100 million on a brand, its agency would receive 15% of that, and that would cover everything. That would cover media planning, media buying, all the creative work, and all the production of the creative work. That was it. And it was a very, very high fee. And agencies who were public at the time made so much money from it that they actually doubled their staff so that they could get their margins down to 15% from what it would be otherwise. They didn't want to embarrass their clients or their shareholders with high expectations. Media commissions went away in the 80s and 90s, and as a result, they shifted to a thing called man-hour billing, in which case agencies then billed their clients for the man hours they put in. And I'm talking about creative agencies right now. The only problem with that was that they never actually figured out how many man hours to do certain types of work. I mean, at the time, they were doing TV, radio, and print for the most part. They were, doing TV commercials, they were doing radio scripts, and they were doing photography and copywriting for magazines and newspapers, right? And so they were just sort of pitching man hours to clients for an unknown quantity of work. And agencies at that time, coming out of the commission era, never actually documented or measured how much work they did. I discovered this in 1992 when I first had an agency client. I was living in the UK. I just left Bain & Company, started my own firm, and an agency contacted me and said, we need some help with our profitability. I went in and I couldn't discover how much stuff they made for their clients. I mean, look, agencies are like ad factories. They make ads, and you would think they would know what their outputs are, but they don't. So when I had to develop a way of measuring the amount of work that their outputs represented, and I've had to do that, Gino and Jack, for the last 30 odd years. I had to invent a unit of work called the scope metric unit, which think of it as like a kilo of work, in a agency creative scope of work. So what I've been doing is keeping track for the last 33 years of what fees they get paid and, how much work they do in scope metric units. And I've just kept track of that price every year for the last 33 years. I've taken inflation out. And the results, when you look at it from 2025, are that agency real prices for their work have dropped by 75%. Now, I'm the only person who knows that because I'm the only person that measures the amount of work they do. All they feel is they've got fee pressure. They don't measure the degree to which their workloads have started to go through the roof. That happened in 2005 when digital and social came in, and they started doing a huge amount of stuff for Facebook and for Google and doing search. And then again, when programmatic came in, after 2009, and they started doing, all these ad banners and other things that appear on websites. So workloads have grown, and procurement, which thinks that agencies are overpaid, have been sort of cutting fees every year. Or if not cutting them, the fees have not grown at the same rate as the workload. So all a price is a fee divided by units of work. That's what I measure. And I found that it has come down by 75%. Agencies have responded to that by downsizing, by firing people, lowering their costs at a time when their workloads have gone up. That is a colossal mistake because they've been liquidating their talent at a time when they really need sophisticated talent to manage today's media landscape. Ironically, a separate measure of what's happened to their clients since 2009 reveals that 40 of the top 60 advertisers in the world have barely grown at even GDP rates. Huge decline in growth rates since 2009 at a time when agencies are firing their people and the price for agency work is coming down. I can't think of a worse disaster.
So is it a situation, because I feel like there's more ads out in the world than ever before. So
absolutely,
there's more quantity, and there's like this thought that because there's more supply, perhaps that drives the price down. If you can make more ads and it takes less time, maybe that costs less money.
No, that's not actually, Jack. What's happening is what you're seeing is programmatic advertising, in which an advertiser creates an ad, decides what target audience is to go, and then there's an online, a very automated auctioning process between all of the websites that are proposing space for it, right? And the advertiser that's willing to pay a certain degree. So actually what's happened is single ads are going out to a lot of sites. In fact, the ANA in one study showed that a typical ad could appear on 40,000 websites. Now, that's not the way it used to be when they used to do TV ads for I Love Lucy.
Right.
There'd be one ad shown to 40 million people every week. Now you have multiple ads being shown to millions of people, because actually the places where ads can go, that is an infinite number of places it can go, infinite number of websites, LinkedIn, all the social sites, etc. So what you're feeling, and I feel it too, is that the websites are the greedy ones. They want to fill as much space on their site as possible with ads that they get paid for.
Right.
And it's not so much that the agencies are creating the number of ads that you're seeing. They're just going out there all over the place.
Right. And so the issue really at hand is that these advertising creative agencies have not reasonably priced their output of work based on what
because they don't know what their outputs are.
Right.
They don't have a way of measuring them. And the tradition within the industry is that they're selling man hours, not ads. And so the ironic thing is that when they are given a scope of work by a client, they don't ask, or they don't even calculate, how much work is this? And when they're told what their fee is going to be by procurement, they don't say there's a gap between the fee and the amount of work. They know what the fee is. They don't know what the quantity of work is. But I can tell you from having measured it, every year with every client for 33 years, those workloads are growing.
And now kind of looking at, I'm glad that we kind of addressed some of those issues with the past and how it's been working. We hear it all the time. The agency model is quote unquote dead. But now WPP and what we're hearing about right now is betting that the new model should be getting paid on business results instead of the hours put in. Is this the future in your opinion, Michael?
Well, I would say this. That is a very ambitious objective that sounds great in PR, but it takes a very complicated process for an agency to get paid on results. Let's give you an example. First of all, they have to intimately understand how brands have been performing, let's say in the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. They have to have access to the data that shows how a brand's sales are going, where its segments are. Clients do not share that information with agencies at all. Why? Because clients fire agencies every 3 years and they feel like it's giving confidential information about their operations to someone that is not a long-term partner. So the second thing is, not only do they not know what the brand performance is, but they're also given the scope of work by the client. The client decides where they want to spend the media, and the client decides what kind of creative deliverables will be filling up all the channels in that media. So agencies are not even often partners in determining what the scope of work is. Now, in order to address brand growth problems, they would have to have a big influence on how much money is spent on media and in what media channels. And then the second thing they'd have to do is have a voice in what kind of creative deliverables go along with the media spend. They are not in a position to do any of that right now. Mm-hmm. Furthermore, when you think about certain brands, let's take Jell-O, okay? Jell-O is a craft product. I wouldn't want to bet my remuneration for doing Jell-O ads on how we're going to move the Jell-O brand, because it isn't going to go anywhere. Mm-hmm. It probably hasn't been growing for decades. It's a household staple that some people use it, maybe at church bazaars. I don't know where.
I'm a Jell-O guy.
Listen,
Jell-O
when I was a kid, my mother
good.
made Jell-O desserts, but I don't think the average mom today does it.
Michael, have you had a Jell-O shot before?
Huh?
Those are good. Those are good.
Well,
I highly recommend them.
I like a Jell-O
No,
shot.
there's an opportunity. Maybe Diageo should buy Jell-O.
This is something. This is why
there you go.
And I think,
but when you think about, listen, we've got 40 of the top 60 advertisers that are growing like below 2% per year, and the results that they're looking for are growth. But no advertiser has ever asked an agency to become their growth partner. What they want is do the stuff we give you at the lowest cost possible. So when Cindy Rose says, long-term, we're going to get paid on results, she's got a long transformation to effect. And I don't know how fast she can do it. Clients are very skeptical about the value of agency services anyway, which is why they cut the fees every year and why they fire them every 3 years.
Yeah, it feels really, I think and then the other side of it is even benchmarking or tracking, like, what to say, what the goal is and what you're trying to do. Then it goes into the other side of it, which is how to even track what like a win would be and like performance and outcomes.
Well,
like
exactly.
that.
And Jack, the other thing is, for the many years that I was Bain & Company, we really did help clients perform better. But who takes the credit for it? The people that have the ideas or the organization that executes? The salespeople, the marketing people, the IT people, the delivery people. There's a long chain of people that are involved in generating results for clients. And a consulting firm or an ad agency that wants to take credit for it is going to get in trouble with the organization that they're working with. So as a rule, we did not seek bonuses for improving results. What we sought were higher billing rates for the work we did if we could demonstrate that we really helped the client grow. That makes sense. But I think, Cindy, I think she probably believes it. I don't think she realizes how hard that's going to be. For one thing, at the WPP agencies, and I'm talking about Gray and Ogilvy and AKQA and the others, I don't know how they're all bundled together, but they don't have documentation on their scopes of work. I know that because I've worked with them. And so she's got to come to grips with what the work is. She has to influence what the work is with the client in order to change the performance of brands, and she has to have the information on how the brands are performing. Well, that's a very big thing. I wish her luck on that because it is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But it sounds to me like a 5 to 10 year program, nothing you're going to do in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, they're in a tough spot. And before we wrap things up, Michael, I want to hear your thought, your opinion. What is the way forward? What do you think is the solution for creative agencies when it comes to the new model?
Well, ironically, it's what I just trashed. Listen, I think that agencies are never going to get paid properly until they declare that their mission is to help clients grow again. So if I were an agency, I would do that with every new client I took on. I would go out there and say, look, we're not in the business of doing advertising at the lowest cost possible. We are in the business of helping clients grow their brands. For that, we need to understand brand performance over the last several years. We need to have access to brand strategic plans. We need to be considered your partners for the development of media spend, media mix, and creative deliverables. We have to have a hand in putting together the scopes of work with you. And we need to be paid, I would say this, paid for the outputs of our work. It's not, they're not ready to be paid for results, but they could be paid for the outputs of the work.
Right.
Now, I think that is the right way to go, but it's a long-term program.
It's a long-term
And it
program.
takes the leadership of a holding company or of an agency to get everyone to agree that's the new positioning. So that, it's a new transformation thing that has to be embedded in the entire organization. That'll take a lot of time.
Yeah, listen, it's a turnaround, but listen, Michael, one thing's for certain, as things keep moving forward, you will be the go-to, for us at least, to see where things are headed. So thank you very much, Michael.
I hope
Appreciate
that
it.
I'm sort of an instant celebrity after 33 years.
That's right.
I do have a lot of experience in this anyway, and it's a lot of fun working with people that want to change.
100%, and it was a blast talking with you. We will get that Jello shot very soon.
Hey,
Thank you so much,
Jack.
Michael.
Take the lime Jello. I think that's the best.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
Michael Farmer, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Back. So back. Michael Farmer. He feels like he's the nicest person.
He's a legend. He is a legend.
He knows what he's talking about. Those are all the stories. Let's get into the post show now. Gino, we got something cooking right now.
Yeah, first off, we have to correct what we did wrong. We got something fun, right? It's loading up right now. Before we have fun, we have to make a correction here. I want to give a shout out to Nicole Foley on LinkedIn, corrected us on the part of the show where we were talking about Love Story. That was in the 2-minute drill, Jack. I believe we mentioned Meryl Streep was the mother of Sarah Pidgeon, and that, in fact, was incorrect. Let's go over to Ellie for her public statement.
I'm really sorry. Clearly I didn't do enough research.
Who is Sarah Pidgeon's mother?
Well, on a brief Google search, I found potentially she's a yoga instructor.
Oh, that's
The mom is a yoga instructor?
But also, I didn't fact check that, so maybe
Yeah.
don't take information.
This is like you don't want to take a
Yeah.
bogey and turn it into a double bogey.
Nobody
You gotta cut your losses.
Yeah. Just
What
nobody
about?
listen to me anymore.
Don't say that. That feels like a brash
Ellie.
judgment. Ellie,
doing
quick
great,
question. So, how is does Meryl Streep have any affiliation to this show?
Well, again, did not fact check, but I believe the woman playing Caroline Kennedy, JFK Jr.'s sister, is the daughter of Meryl Streep. So if anyone wants to fact check me, please go
Well,
ahead.
let's call that as a fact.
Maybe. Maybe. I like Meryl Streep.
Yes. Nicole did mention here that Sarah Pidgeon does look like a young Meryl Streep, so I'll give you guys that.
Oh, she's just being nice.
thank
She's just being nice.
I appreciate the call out.
I feel like we could get over our differences.
That's how you're at. You're
There's
doing
no
great, Ellie.
way.
All is good here.
There's no way we bring that up
okay.
every show from now until
So the next thing now is something very important that we covered the CEO of McDonald's taking the bite out of the burger in the 2-minute drill. So I want to give the stage now to Jack. And we have a big arch burger that just came in. It's piping hot from McDonald's here. And Jack, we want to give you this platform. How do you want to do this? Do you want to
This is a big
recreate?
arch. Yeah, I'm gonna taste test it just like the CEO did very normally.
And then maybe you do what he should have done.
No, I mean, I'm just gonna do. No, I'm not gonna reenact it. I'm just gonna experience how I experience it.
Okay.
It is hot. I don't even know how I'm gonna attack this whole.
Can we get a
thing.
zoom in? Is that possible?
Here, I got it right here. Here we go. You can use the actual camera too if you want. Here we go.
Wait.
I'm just gonna go for it.
Oh, good solo camera here. And the ASMR is disgusting, but
That's a good piece of product. It's I mean, I don't know. It's pretty good.
we have no napkins in this office too.
I mean, I don't know why he didn't like it. Like, it's a pretty normal burger.
I think he liked it. I think it just didn't look
He's
like
the psychopath. That was how you, and also the bite. I want everyone to like, how about that bite by me? That was a big. Can we get a slow mo? Maybe next episode, slow mo.
Let's do another big bite.
Look at this.
Does it taste better than a Big Mac?
You want to hear something?
What's
I've
up?
never had a Big Mac in my life. I've never had a Big Mac. I mean,
Oh man. All right. What are you giving on a scale of 1 to 10?
That is like, I don't know. That's like a 7.3.
Oh, that's
like
okay.
I have a very specific McDonald's order, and I don't know if I would get this. I don't know how much does it cost? Like $7?
13.
13
No,
bucks?
but that's with all the DoorDash stuff. Oh, really?
It was $12.99.
$12.99 for that burger here in New York City.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that's a little bit too high of a price point for this, but the big arch redemption.
And you go full studio cam here, Ross, because this is what people are doing now. They want to try it, and they're selling more burgers, I would imagine, from that.
And that was the big arch. Big arch. You said you saw this in France when we were there.
Yeah, well, last summer. It was
So it's got crispy onions, lettuce, arch sauce is what it's called, which tasted like, God, I don't know. There's a little bit of barbecue.
Ooh.
It was like tangy, kind of thing. So, that's the big arch. And get this, Gino, I wouldn't have friggin' cared about it if I didn't see the crazy social media video of the CEO do it. So mission accomplished for McDonald's. I don't care what everyone says about brand control or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't care. Also, McDonald's did have a tweet that they put out yesterday.
Take a bite of our bite out of our product.
Yeah, so they get it. They did exactly what we hoped that they would do, which is lean into it.
Yeah.
I bet they tried to get, this is speculation station, I bet they tried to get the CEO to like do another thing, and he was like, no, I'm not doing this. You guys already got me once. You guys told me this was normal. You guys told me I looked great.
Alrighty, that is the bulk of the show here. Now we're going to get into our personal lives here.
Yeah, this is the post show. So if you don't care about our personal lives, now's a good time to log off and get on with your days. The hottest story coming out of last week's episode is that our editor Ross, who's behind the monitor back there, he announced that he had a date last weekend. He was going to a jazz bar.
It was on Friday
in Brooklyn. It was on Friday night. Now floor is yours, Ross. How'd it go?
It went swimmingly. We had a great time, and I foresee more dates in the future.
Oh, let's go.
Okay, let's see how I want to attack this. Let's see what approach I want to go here.
What's the next date idea?
The Met.
The Met?
Yes.
Jeez. Like on a Sunday or Saturday?
Sunday, during the day.
Oh, nice coffee, go to the Met.
Probably get a coffee, maybe a matcha.
Maybe a matcha.
Go to the Met.
Where was the first date? The first date was at the jazz bar, and then did you go to another bar?
It was in a cellar of a jazz bar, and there was a live oboist. It was very intimate.
Really? How close were you sitting to the jazz bar? Because I gave you the advice to sit further away.
It's funny. I sat as far away as I could, but there were limited tables available, and we were pretty close, which actually made for a better conversation because we were closer to each other,
Right.
almost whispering each other's ears the whole time. So it was great in that sense.
Which is,
Got it. Well, we wish you best of luck on your next date. If that happens, we'll let the people know.
There's no date scheduled yet.
Sunday.
Sunday.
Oh, it's scheduled.
Oh, it's scheduled Sunday. Okay, great. So that lines up perfectly with our schedule for the show. So tune in next week again to see how this love saga, this love story, this is the real love story. JFK Jr., we have our own JFK Jr. here with his CBK, Carolyn Bessette Kennedy. Anything else, Gino?
I'm going to take a bite of that big arch. I want to try it.
First, go for it. Yeah. While he's doing that, Ellie, anything going on this weekend?
Yes, I'm going to Florida.
Oh, you're going to Florida.
Going to Florida to see my little sister play soccer.
Oh, that's
Like
great.
always.
That's awesome. Good luck to your little sister.
Thank you.
Oh, I think that's all the time we have. People are freaking out back there. There's nothing's working, but that's the Breaking and Entering show. Thank you for tuning in. Tuesday through Thursday. Before we go, Gino, what'd you think?
Pretty good. I think it's a 7.4. What'd you give it?
I think I gave it a 7.1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's what it expected, I would say. Well, that's all the news. That was marketing today. We'll be back tomorrow and then Tuesday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time on LinkedIn, X, and YouTube. Thanks for sticking around. Enjoy the rest of your days, and we'll catch you next time.